That's it. It keeps you in the game and it keeps you young. Yeah.
And so like I feel like I'm able to relate more, see what the people like what the kids are struggling with. I mean, it's usually always the general ideas, like same things we went through. However, it's like within the context and like to be able, and so there's little nuances to know and to get familiar with, and that makes a little difference when you talk to these kids. So like then they feel like you really get to know them. You know.
We were talking to Brandon Steiner, Steiner Sports.
Nice.
We were talking to him, and he said that his secret is that he has mad good friends that are 17, 16, 18-year-old that are athletes, that are athletes, huge potential, or they're entrepreneurs because it lets him keep up to date on what's going on, the nuances, the idiosyncrasies of what tech they're using and how they're using it. And fascinating.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing.
Headphones on. Pull that mic up.
Leave this here. Move
Yeah.
It. Okay.
We should be aces.
All right.
Can I lift this just slightly?
No. Just zoom it out. It is not cooperating, but it is recording. Anything, any untouchable subjects?
No, I don't think so.
Just had to make sure before.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think so. I think we're.
You never know where the bus will go.
Yeah, I don't even know where we're at. I'm just gonna go with it. All right, kicking off this day with the boys. Yo, on the bus podcast going down right now.
Ready when you are, Matt. We are recording.
We're in.
Mr. K, Mr. Klossman.
How you doing?
Oh man, this has been so long overdue.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Your energy's on fire, by the way.
Good morning. It's bright and early. It's happy Sunday, everybody. It's no better way to kick off the week.
Oh, we're coming off a fresh Shabbat.
Yes, that's true. Had a nice weekend with some friends. Just landed back from Israel on Friday, so it's nice getting over the jet lag, rested up, and ready to kickstart this week.
Was that a direct flight or?
No, stopover in Turkey. I booked my ticket at the very last minute, so that was like chick-chock pollywalk, but we were able to land the flight. So stopover 2 hours in Turkey. Great airport. A lot of different lounges to choose from.
It's beautiful.
And then made my way over to the Holy Land.
Are you an Israeli citizen, or are you just?
No, I'm just
U.S. citizen.
Yeah, U.S. citizen.
Okay.
And it's Jewish, so I definitely feel a connection to Israel, and it runs deep. And I've been fortunate enough to over the past year to been there to visit a few times, like 4 or 5 times now, and so I love it. Look forward to every time.
Have you ever thought about going through the process, the Aliyah?
To make Aliyah? Yeah. Wow. I mean, the question is always asked. Like, it's the number 2 question when any Israeli comes across. You're like, oh, what? You're American? Okay, when you making Aliyah? And then also, like, last year I had the opportunity to join Nefesh B'Nefesh, and it's a great organization that helps people making Aliyah. And so they charter these flights. So you have 2 flights throughout the summer where they charter, and they have hundreds of people who are making Aliyah. I was one of the only people who were not because I was just documenting it. And so I felt the energy. It was incredible. And I think down the road, it may be something I would do and consider. However, this part of my life right now where I'm at, my work's out in the world, not settled down in just one place in Israel. Especially, I'm hardly settled down in New York City. Right now in my life, I'm moving and shaking. Can't hold me down.
Well, I mean, I know a bunch of people who have made the Aliyah, and a buddy, a YouTuber of ours, actually the second guest of our show, he's blown up. He's gone from 100 subscribers to 80,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Since, he's been a 2-time guest on our show. He's been circumnavigating the globe since then, but he does have a hard time because of the Israeli citizenship. He has a U.S. passport, and he can travel with that,
right.
But, to enter certain places, he, faces that trouble, Indonesia, for example.
Sure, yeah, it can complicate things.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a shame. Yeah, there's some countries that make it difficult or impossible for someone who has Israeli citizenship to enter. That's not the focus why I wouldn't do it at this point, but yeah, it's sort of a shame. I mean, Bali, Indonesia. Oh my God, I feel so bad for my Israeli friends who can't make it to Bali. It's such a special place, So, but yeah,
you haven't experienced any trouble yet.
I haven't. No, I haven't. I mean, I have a U.S. passport. Also, besides, with the right garb, I look, I could blend in pretty well.
And those eyes.
And the eyes. Well, thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. You make me blush behind this beard. Yeah.
You're blending with the red right behind you. Can you see it?
Nice. This is a great spot. Wow, Gotham Podcast Studios. What's up?
Oh, this is the studio I found right when I got to New York. I've
Yeah,
been using it
this
for
is
on
the
the
move.
bus. I mean, once we get recording with you, I mean,
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
we'll be in here.
I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Yeah, nice. I'm getting my bearings, getting used to the aesthetics of this room. It's nice. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I'm excited about our collaborations, man. The podcast's coming up soon. That should be fun. It's really fun. I'm excited about it. It's gonna be a massive learning experience. I'm excited to grow with it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's lately I've been doing a lot more podcasts. I was just on one in Israel. Two Jewish nice guys. I was really nice. They had me on there, and like I'm a lot more conscious now when on a podcast to like listen and to see how the interviewers, the hosts, are like interacting with the guests, and like to see how. Cause I find that I think my biggest concern is like the ability to, of course, to listen, right? To listen to the conversation, and at the same time also ask the right questions to guide and to not go off topic, or I don't know, just like sort of let it flow. At the same time, not lose control of it. So it'll be an interesting journey.
Yeah, you gotta adapt. You have to adapt to every guest. Everybody that comes on is different. Some people, talk super rapidly. Some people talk slow. You never know what you're gonna get.
Right. Yeah, that's also true. And it's also cool to see like how when there's like one host or two hosts and see how that goes. And yeah, I guess ultimately it's like to really truly listen to what the person is saying, and then like bounce back and let it grow, and let it organically build into itself.
Well, I mean, that's the problem with all of us. I mean, we always want to be doing something, and if we're not doing something, we feel the urge to say, okay, I gotta be creating some kind of content. Okay, who can I be collaborating with? Who can I be working with?
Right.
You're jumping on a plane to Israel.
Yeah.
This guy and me are like, okay, we gotta get to Colombia. We gotta go cover this story over here. This has to be done. I mean, where do you find the time? I mean, you're all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to I think we always like the number one thing I used to give excuses to people was like I'm just too busy, and I still feel that sometimes, but I try to not say the word busy too much because then it manifests into like a reality of like me being too busy, and people bounce back into my story that I'm too busy, and then I don't get anything done. I think it comes down to what I've been practicing, what I'm trying to practice, and Brandon, you know how difficult it was at the beginning, at least, to get a hold of me and to via. But what I'm working on myself right now is focus management and to just schedule, to just really find time to schedule. And whatever I schedule in my calendar, that's everything that exists during that time. Nothing else exists before and after that. And then once that's done, and it's okay, moving on to the next thing, wrapped it up, moving on. So just really planning oneself, planning my day, planning my week. That just in segments. Okay, I'm setting this amount of time for creativity for this particular project. Fantastic, and that's all that exists. I'm jogging now. I'm working out now. That's what I'm doing right now. I have a meeting now, and that's it. So just scheduling, just following that schedule. Plan your work and work your plan, and that's what I'm been working on these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Me.
No, you.
So first of all, what are you doing for focus management? Like, it's one of the hardest things when you dedicate yourself to, all right, no Twitter today, not going to do that, keep that away. But then you get in studio, you have people that want to connect with you, they want to collaborate, and then all of a sudden you're on your phone. How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, there's always that time, like, when there's like, social media, like hopping on Insta stories, Instagram, like that kind of thing. It does come in and protrude during like throughout the day. It does sprinkle. Then it's like also practicing like the under 2 minute rule. I think something get done in 2 minutes, just knock it out, get it done right there.
The under 2 minute rule?
Yeah. So if something's gonna take you less than 2 minutes to do, just like knock it out right then and there. So. If let's say I just had dinner and wash the dishes, it'll take me less I just wash dishes right then. Why should I wait to pile them up later on? You know what I mean? Emails I don't look at as more as one email. I mean, one email may take under 2 minutes. Usually it takes longer depending how. So I usually set a time for emails. But anything that's quick, something that's off the cuff, you could do something, just knock it out right then and there. That's what I try to do. So I just knock it out. So if I got on my Instagram, I'm about to step into a podcast, whatever it is, just a quick shout out, hey, what's up, everybody? It's where I'm up to, and like move on. So instead of like letting it pile up, and then usually what happens when if I do let things pile up, then it leads to anxiety, it leads to stress, it leads to like all this overbearing amount of pressure. Like, oh my God, I have all these things to do. Instead of just where I could have just just knocked it out as I went along my day. Then nothing at the end of the day, everything's a clean slate. So it's like so it's really more of just about got my tasks in hand, starting off the week, have my meeting set up. Making decisions faster instead of letting things manifest. If I don't know the answer, then I just don't know. But like if I'm able to make a decision, which is most of the time it is, I just allow myself sometimes to be not decisive. But if I'm decisive, I'm killing it because like boom, decisions are being made. It's not sitting in my head. I'm moving on to the next thing.
Yeah, it's weird because we're in an era where we're self-aware people. Like, it seems like we're super self-aware. But I feel like there's a lot of other people out there that want to be content creators, that want to do something with themselves, but they don't know how to separate themselves from that thing that they're working on and then all the other things they have going on in their life.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, yeah, it's 100%. I mean, there's the way I look at it is like there's just my life, you know, and then everything within that is just part of it. So like, I don't separate it into categories of like, my personal, my work, or my. I mean, what I'm referring to is the way I show up in life. So like, it's like just like I have to set an amount of time for my work, and I have to set time for my play, and set time for family and friends and all that. So all of that is just, it falls into my life, and but the way I show up is just who I am. So it's definitely about being aware. I've been on this, a lot more aware, you could say, or over the past. More than ever over the past, let's say, year and a half, 2 years, and the process has definitely led me to like discover a lot about myself, my strengths, where I could work on myself, where to put my energies, how to put my energies, and just giving myself a lot more clarity, so to be able to move forward and to execute and be the most powerful person that I could be in the time span that I have on this earth.
What are you trying to work on right now? What is the most thing that is like, hey, Meir, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to be. This is the number one thing I got to work on right now.
I mean, it's a good question, but I mean, the best investment I could do is for myself, and so it's just being in tune with where I'm at. So I'm right now working on focus management. That's something which is always going to be. That's something which has always been something that I deal with. So focus management, working on my spirituality, my connection with God, with my community, with loving myself, being more available to my family, and so that work and life balance. That's always something that I'm being more aware of. My work used to consume me and never allow me to spend time with family, with friends as much as I would like to. So it's finding that balance, and I find that the more time I give to that, it's not less time for me to work, but it's actually healthier for me, and I'm able to be more productive and execute a lot more healthier when I'm working. So I may have less time, so to speak, with my work, but in the time that I have, I'm getting a lot more done. So it's just finding all the areas of my life, not just one or two places, and just and knocking it out. Growing in that, because if you just focus on doing barbells on your right hand and on your left hand, then one will be. So it's just working all the muscles of my body, all the muscles of my body, of who I am, and so it gives me the vehicle the best possible results.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's even exclusive to content creators or people who are just infatuated or have to be on social media all hours a day at all time. I mean, people really lose sight, like you said, of not just being themselves, but who they are and what they want to do. I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh wow, I've not spent any time with my family. I haven't spent any time doing the things that make Brandon, and
right.
You completely lose sight of yourself. With trying to build this personality and this persona, whatever it is.
Right.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, you always got to refocus, and you always take some time to recalibrate into okay, where am I right now? What am I doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And then find ourselves, just find where we land sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes life could creep up so fast that things happen that we divert, we change, we do, and then we end up and we wait a second, why do I feel the way? Why do I not feel as powerful as I could be? And then we can look back and see the decisions that we made and see where we're at, and not sit in it and not get depressed about it, not get sad about it, but okay, great. Now this is where I'm at. Am I enjoying what I'm doing? Am I happy with what's going on in my life? Do I feel good inside? Am I projecting a good energy and aura to my friends and family? And then you answer those questions positively, then great. If there's certain places in your life that you need some work on, then take that moment, take that time, and work on it, and then move forward and just keep doing that. I think that's the most healthiest way of just growing and being productive.
Let me ask you something. You've done some videos that have really powerful messages, really powerful and positive. But as a content creator, I'm very curious how you come up with some of those stories idea. I know the story behind the high five, but what about the one with the teacher, or how do you come up with those ideas?
Great question. So there's the high five. The high five New York was a great video, and that falls into the category I would say of my social experiment type videos, where it's more live and with messing around with the elements, the live elements I find myself in. The professor one is more of a short a short film, a short story, and
It's a short film, yeah.
a short film, right? So that, and there's a bunch of those I've created and produced. Those usually fall into the category where I come across stories or parables that I've read in books or online in articles that resonate with me. I'm like, oh, great! I would love to bring this out into a video form. I mean, we're living in the age of media, video. So I've been so one of the other projects, one of my content I'm doing is I find these stories, these parables, and I bring them to life. So I can't take credit for writing them per se. Sometimes I tweak them or make them modern or make them, short or in the right format so it could be on social media, be turned into a short film. But a lot of them are just, concepts from people or parables that I've read in different storybooks or articles or books that I've read that I just bring to life. And then sometimes they're stories that I get inspired by that, something I came across or something that I thought of, and then I bring them to life as well. But usually it's it's stories that I find that just resonate with me, that inspire me, that move me in a certain way, that I feel like, okay, this is great. I feel like this would be a great short film, and share that with my community.
What's your process in the actual creation
Of these short films?
Yeah, of the short film,
yeah. So usually it works like I just come across I'm going about my merry day. I'm reading a book, and I come across like, oh, so I point, I just note it, I take it down, and then from there on, it's like just producing any type of video. So I got the script, I turned the story into a script, right into a script form with characters and locations and people. I'm writing their dialogue.
Are you working with team, or when you're
myself,
developing that?
Yeah. So in the beginning it was myself. Now, I mean, the team has grown a bit, and I have. Thank God, a small team, skeleton team, which gets the job done. So sometimes they're finding stories and they send them to me for approval and such. And at the same time, I also come across. I'm like, oh, this is great. So turn them to a script, and then it's like, okay, where are the locations? What kind of actors do I need? So lock those down. Sometimes to put myself in the video. I do enjoy acting.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make sense though, then if it's two old grannies on a park bench, I'm like, okay, I got to pass this one up. So we'll find a couple of actors, and then we'll go out and just execute it, shoot it, edit it, and post it. Yeah, so it's just really breaking it down. And usually, what I'll try to do with these short films, I try to knock out 2 or 3 in a day. So I'll just find a couple stories that take place in the same locations and then the same type of actors. So this way, I can save on cost, save on time, and this sort of like with podcasts, you'll interview a few people one day, so you have content lined up for the next couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I find the concept of charity and donation and giving such a fascinating topic. And I also realize that it's not, I don't see it so much in media. You don't see it so much especially in social media era. Like, I think that I was reading that it's a $300 billion market, charity, and
Wow.
only 7% of that market is being utilized online. So, I mean,
Whoa. That's crazy. I have friends who are. I mean, I have friends in the. I know. I do work with some nonprofits and such, but I have a friend who does charity.com with a D, and they're like a platform that help nonprofits raise money. But it's interesting. There's definitely a massive business around the whole charity, and it's a massive world and universe to be a part of. I mean, I personally am involved with an organization called Chai Lifeline. And they have amazing programs for kids with special needs and who are dealing with chronic illnesses and cancer and such. And they do awesome stuff. So it's nice to be able to find time in one's. I think it's very conducive and healthy for someone to find time in their weekly or monthly schedule to give back and to volunteer and to get involved with an organization that speaks to them.
I think we were talking about gratitude. Was it gratitude?
gratitude.
Gratitude's a business these days. Whether it's displaying that to people or just showing them that it's the potential for that. People want to show that people can get out and spread positivity. It's a new form. It's like a new job these days where it's like, okay, certain jobs, certain applications of how you fit into society don't exist anymore. But if you can go out and spread a message, if you can go and share a certain kind of idea that can go out and inspire other people, there's a market for that. There's a market for, getting on a bus and heading to South
there's always been a market for the self-development, self-help, that's been the biggest, section in Barnes & Nobles. And there's summits and there's the many Tony Robbins of the world. And I think it's a great shift in young people. And I think, I believe it's fantastic. You know, in the sense that that's the focus. I mean, even with videos back in the day, pranks were pretty popular. I feel like those has died down, and now a lot more people are making videos around positive content. Where it may still be a hidden camera type video, but it's still like an uplifting type of video. You know, where maybe we're laughing less at people and with people. That being said, also it's also I guess important to like always be, you know, as the entertainers and creators, to be authentic with oneself and like, you know, not just do it just to do it and for the business aspect, but also especially because we are dealing with people's emotions and lives, and we're, you know, inspiring. So not to be it's a thin line, I guess, but it's and anything in life is that balance of like, yes, to be there for people and to be positive and to inspire, but at the same time not to take advantage and as for the person to be in line with what they're saying.
I'll be honest with you. My mom is the most positive person in the entire world, to the point where I'm like, Mom, you can't be so positive all the time.
Right.
I need a little bit of darkness in my life.
Tone that down a bit, Mom. That's what got your dad. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure he's an awesome guy.
No, you're right.
No, the balance.
He's the balance.
I feel the same way though, because like my mom, it's amazing. Like, you know, I'm also blessed with a mom and a dad who are just like, also I grew up in this household was super positive. I was happy, you know, and you know they just built a reality where that was felt on a daily basis. Now how I interpreted it was my own way, but like my mom especially has incredible amounts of energy, and just she shows up in people's lives, her friends, family, as a positive, happy person, and I've really yet to really witness her in any other format, which is really cool. It's very, very cool. It's unbelievable.
Well, take me into your childhood for a second. What is it? You know, what is a poignant moment, something from your childhood that led to who Meir is today?
It's a great. I think it. I mean, it's a great question. It's hard to really say a specific time and place. A lot of the I feel like energy and focus is just something that's been really brought down through my life, through my stages. So like all these different like I'll say events lined up. For example, you know, being born within my family, right, and being the oldest, you know, gave me a lot of responsibility and leadership. At the same time, also with my family, like growing up in a positive and like a healthy household has given me certain foundations and way of life. My parents also always had an open home. So for the weekends, for Shabbat, for different holidays, you know, it was an open house. They would invite people, and there was always guests, and it was always pretty lively. So like having conversations with people who are older and younger than me, and holding those conversations, being taught, you know, having an open home, being warm to people, to strangers, people who don't have a place to, let's say, eat or to place to stay. So these are like this, you know, there's some principles that were just and ways of life which were taught and brought down to me as a child. Growing up in an Orthodox sect called Chabad, that philosophy is all about outreach. It's all about, you know, accepting people as they are, loving them. Doesn't matter where they come from, who they are. It's about just love and acceptance. So being brought up into that, in that culture and that mindset has allowed me to also like just be, that's what life's all about, to being open, to be loving, to be accepting. And doesn't matter what type of Jewish person they are, no matter what type of religion they are, doesn't matter who they are. It's just, you know, it's about connecting with that person and where they're at. And loving them, accepting them, and having conversations, breaking some bread, you know, traveling with them, whatever it is, hear out their story, and sharing experience with them. So that was something that was brought up, within my upbringing. Now, being part of Chabad, there's these different programs that are about outreach. So they'll send you out to different places around the world to, let's say, run a program around a holiday or a weekend, like a Shabbat thing. And so from a very young age, 14, 15 years old, 16 years old, I was out there in the world, in Romania with friends, or in different places in Europe or Australia, and leading programs for teens, people who are my age or adults, and for people from 20 people in a room to a couple hundred people in the room. So from a very young age, you're already learning how to public speak, you're learning how to be confident, you're learning how to bring over a message. And so during it though, when I was 14, I didn't realize the skills that were being that were being brought down. Sometimes I didn't even like it. Sometimes it was annoying. Like, oh man, I gotta do this again. And looking back at it now, it's like, wow, how great those opportunities were for me, that I'm able to, use them now in my adult life, and to, spread the message, spread it in the way that I know how, because I've had all this experience growing up with it.
I mean, you mentioned something. You mentioned something to circle back. For me, one of the hardest things has always been the fact that I do have such good community around me, from my family, from best friends that I grew up with, and then so in any hard time that I've had in my life, it's been extremely incredible to have these people to support me. But then I'm remembering people who don't have that in their life.
Yeah.
The people who go through and have some horrible thing that my hand went through a fence, and then right after I had a torn labrum. If I didn't have people to support me in those times, or not having money, what do you do? Like, and there's people all around the world that don't have that support, and it's actually, like, that's something you think about all the time. It's very hurtful that those people don't have that. So I'm like, how do we facilitate that in other communities and other cultures besides helping them with our hands when we can?
So I mean, 100%. I mean, there's always there's a lot of challenges and pain in the world, and a lot of people are going through a lot throughout the whole world.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, it's a great question. How do we? There's so many homelessness and hunger and
How do we
human
save
trafficking.
the world?
No, it's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think, and so I don't have I don't have those answers. I don't know yet. I think it's a work in progress, and I think we're asking the right questions, and then it comes down to also taking action. So finding that cause, I think one of the ways we stop ourselves from being in action and helping the world is by saying, oh my God, there's so much problems, what can I do? Or getting overwhelmed by all the things that are happening and like focusing on all of them, and like, okay, and then at the end of the day, we don't do anything. So it goes back to us finding out what am I, let's say in this case, I speak for myself, I can't speak for anybody else, but like, what am I passionate about? And then find that cause that I'm passionate about, and then focus on that within the community. Or is it maybe going out into the world, booking a flight somewhere where you know that issue is taking place, and helping out, getting hands on the ground, building your friends and family interest into that. But the point is that to always be in action. So like, yes, to be realistic about what's happening in the world. I don't think to be upset. Yeah, I mean, not to get down about it, but to focus on that one thing and or two things, whatever you could take on upon yourself and you're passionate about, and then execute it and then make it happen. So, and also not to negate and not to also throw off the pain that one has as well. Like someone told me recently, like if someone, you could have a great life and all, but if someone slams the door on your finger, your pain that you're feeling right now is still your pain. It doesn't matter who's happening across the world. Like you're in pain right now. So everybody's relative. Everybody's pain is their story, and everybody has their own challenges that they're going through. And to say, hey, my challenges are not worthy enough to work on and to get through because there's other things happening in the world is not really healthy, because that's always going to be there and it'll manifest and it won't allow you to help anybody else. You got to really work on oneself. And then understanding that at the same time is also to like, okay, what am I passionate about? What kind of change do I want, illumination do I want to see in this world? And then go about doing it. And that's fine. Just take those steps, take those baby steps, like anything in life, whether it's your own personal career and your relationship, and then giving back to the world and giving back to the community is just taking time, focusing on it, and then executing it.
It's weird because it's great advice. And then my mathematical brain wants to say something like, well, what if we, instead of working on a personal level, what if we facilitated this at a cultural level, at a higher level? Like, how can we instill some of these qualities into a different culture? And then, the opposing thought in me says, well, am I trying to challenge anybody else's culture? Wouldn't that be harmful to them by telling them, hey, you should be facilitating openness and those types of things? So it's like this weird battle where I feel like it's a better way to help people, then also I don't want to step on toes.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, people always. It's energy. I feel like everybody can feel if something's coming from a place of authenticity and from kindness, from interest, or just a respectful way. Then people will be understanding towards that. And even if they disagree, it'll be in a place. It'll be in a humane way of communication. It's, I think, when we come and attack and when we don't listen to the other person, we don't understand fully where they're coming from, and then we have our own ideas and we come in and attack their ideas. That's when people get defensive, people get angry, upset, or get offended. And if someone comes, with like an open mind and curious and just want to share something, and then that'll be accepted, and then or be accepted in a way, and then they could counter with what they think, and a conversation starts, and that's where it begins. It's when we come from a place where we feel like our way is the only way, and we try to pose that to other people, that's when like we get opposition because like, wait a second, who are you? What do you know about where I'm coming from and all that kind of stuff. So I think it comes from a place of from respect, from understanding, from really wanting to like grow and to learn and to really make a change. And let's come to the table and see what's up.
Absolutely. Just wanting to grow. Like, how can I just dump off all my biases, who this person is, where they come from, why they think the way they think, and just take away everything, all the filters that I have over who they are. I mean, that's the biggest problem going on today. I mean, just not about politics, but just people trying to communicate with each other and taking off that veil that they have about someone else, whether it's their skin color, what they think, which team they're on, so to say. But I'd ask you about Chabad. Like, is that a sect? Is that a background? It's so new to me.
Yeah.
Growing up Jewish, but like I still have so much learning about the Jewish community as I moved to New York.
Sure. It's a whole. You got a whole mix of types of Jews out here.
It's crazy. This is my first time in New York.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yesterday he saw, I don't know the hat, the big round circular hat.
The Strimal.
It's a Strimal.
The Strimal. The fur.
It's like furry too.
Absolutely.
He had not seen those before.
Wow, really? First time?
Never.
He got a nice Shabbat Saturday morning drive.
Not furry ones.
Not the furry ones. Yeah,
Not
you've
the
seen the
furry
different
ones.
types of hats. Yeah, there's 50 shades of hats, man. I'm telling you. You said it in Williamsburg?
Yes,
Yeah.
in
Williamsburg, yeah.
yesterday.
Totally. So that's like another sect, another like group of Orthodox Jews as well, and it's massive. The spectrum is super super large. So and where it dates back to is like it's just different customs, right? So and dating back a couple hundred years, and this is old, by the way, Chabad, and I'm sure that like the Jews that you've seen with the Strimals and the sideburns and the white socks, the black socks and the long coats, these are all stem from different Hasidic communities, and they all came together these were all formed, I would say, about 300 years ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
And they're offshoots of different teachings and different philosophies from different rabbis that came out in Poland and Russia and throughout Europe and stuff. And so it's particularly within Chabad. What Chabad represents is it's a philosophy. Chabad stands for Chachma, Bina, Das, and that's sort of that's the three different stages of thought. Of when we have just an idea of an idea, and then the idea forms in our mind, and then we're able to bring that idea down into actualization in words, and we're able to discuss the idea. It really comes down to into reality in a way. Mm-hmm. And one of Chabad's philosophies is the idea of the mind controls the heart, that the intellect should control the emotions, not the other way around. A lot of us, we're brought up to believe follow the emotions, listen to your heart, follow, and then Chabad's philosophy is more of like, obviously don't negate that. The feelings is very important. However, it's really the intellectual mind. The mind should control where we're at. Sometimes we feel for something, not necessarily do we feel. Just because we feel a certain way doesn't mean it's good for us, or it's good for our spiritual growth, or for physical growth, or relationship growth. So it's a different take on life, a different way of life. But along with that comes the ideas of being open and outreach, and these are just really watered down. So I may not give me fully justice. May some of your Chabad followers be like, wait a second, but you're missing this point. And then one really close point, which I really love, one of the rabbis from the Chabad movement discussed, was the idea of the lamplighter, which is the person that each and every one of us is a lamplighter. Within us is, back in the day, to give some context, it was like there was no electricity, and there was this job of this person who would go about and light the lamps, and the idea is that so to us, every opportunity we have with another human being is the opportunity we can light their lamp, light their flame. We have a fire and spark within us, and we can share that light with somebody else. And so I like to use that as a way of what I try to be and what I live up to, is to be a lamplighter, is to go and to keep my flame alive, and at the same time to ignite the flames of other people who I come across in my life through the content that I create, through the public speaking that I do, through just living my life and just showing up in life the way I do. And so that's actually what Chabad is. And then with that comes the way we dress, and that's just passed down through generations, like how how the leaders dressed back in the day. So it's brought down. So our hats are a bit different. Our the coats are a bit different from the ones you may see in Williamsburg, because those in Williamsburg came from a different section, a different part of Russia or Eastern Europe, and so their leaders wore different clothing. And so those are more of the external, I would say, external facts, and that's of how they dress, how they talk, the Yiddish and the Hebrew. All those are all beautiful and nice and really bring a rich culture. But I think when you move away all those external clothings and garments, you really go back to, and especially sitting here with you guys, you guys are also Jewish.
Yeah.
And just confirming, okay. And yeah, there you go. That's right. You got pretty big muscles for a Jew, man.
I mean, how else do we confirm? I mean, you be careful with that one.
Yeah, I think we all know.
My dad will be upset you second guessed us.
Listen, you got a pretty decent nose right there. I mean, it's like, and so like
It's off. Can you press the record button on the far right? Back on. Press
Ladies and gentlemen,
the button on the top.
This is
the shoot button. That turns it back on. That's why we're not live.
Nice. You cut this all out then?
Yeah.
Boom.
Is it dead?
Potentially.
I think it's dead.
It's dead.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not dead. The battery's exhausted. If your battery's tired, it says it's exhausted.
It's exhausted.
It's heated.
Give it a break.
It is Sunday morning. It wants brunch.
Battery, you take a break. We're going to continue
So
going.
you said about 5 more, Matt?
Go 10 more.
10 more. You are the man. Hello.
I fit in. I don't know where we were.
We were talking about Chabad, your Jewish nose. How we just confirmed that you actually are Jewish, and welcome to the tribe.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
Yeah,
been
welcome.
a member for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time listener, first time caller.
There you go. Yeah, I think to sum it up is like there's we ship away all the garments and such. There's all the essence of who we are comes back to the same principles, the same Torah, the same history and culture, and then how we go about it, or different ways. How you practice it, how I practice it, how the people in Israel practice it, and even within those communities, everybody on an individual basis practices it in their own way. They form it, they bring it to what makes sense or what they feel towards their life, and they go about living that life.
Yeah, I mean, I want to toot the Judaism horn, but I mean, there's just so much more deep philosophical thought that comes with the religion and culture of not just being Jewish, but just the discussions about what it is. I mean, just the religion or idea of just always asking questions, which is just different from many religions and ideas. Like, always ask questions, never be just okay with just that one answer, because that answer, even with that religion filter or layer over it, there's something to learn from it. There's something to grow from it. And I was telling you, a friend of ours, Schneer, who linked us up.
Yeah.
Met Schneer in South America as well.
Nice.
And
Schneer, rocking guy.
Yeah. And it was like just, the conversations that was there for the high holidays was just like, oh, wow. Not even about religion, just philosophy, life, science, just everything layered into, everybody just being there in the present in the moment.
Right.
About just, the phones are off. I got yelled at for whipping the phone out right there, but just what is happening, what is going on in the world, and how can we be as present as possible in that situation. I mean, it's I new grown fondness for Judaism itself right there. Just spending that much time with the Crown Heights community, let's call it.
Oh, nice. I mean, there's definitely, I think, it's been a very interesting road. It's been life. When I actually didn't grow up personally in Crown Heights. I moved there 4 years ago now, from Connecticut, and it's been really great. It's been very interesting. It's the hub of in this part of the world where it's where Chabad relocated when they moved from Russia, and so it has a very vibrant, very strong energy in Crown Heights. Over the past while, it's been getting gentrified. It's been growing. There's new coffee shops and bars popping up, and it's an interesting. On a lot of the hustled hipster look is getting blurred, and I think it's great. I think that's it's evolution. It's the way things are growing and going, and it's so admirable to see how traditions are still being held and how people go about their life. Even in this modern day era, 2018 in Brooklyn, and yet still dress, speak, live, eat, the same way and that they have for a bunch of years. Now, of course, that also changes, and the food that I'm sure back in Russia and some shtetl is not the same food they're eating now in Brooklyn. But it's the ideas, it's the philosophy, it's the actual action as well. It's the physical traditions that are the way, again, people dress, the way people talk, the way people go about their daily lives is still a way of life, and that hasn't really changed for hundreds of years.
Chicken schnitzel will always be chicken schnitzel. It's going to be cooked and going to be prepared in the same way no matter where you are in the world.
But I mean,
Yeah,
look,
that's pretty much.
I mean, technology's evolving rapidly, right? I mean, there's technology that's coming out that's working on augmenting us and trying to turn us into cyborgs. So, I mean, I love to talk about this topic. I'm just my brain is firing off, wondering, how do we adjust in a future like that? What are your thoughts on that?
What do you mean, particularly when it comes to
Finding a place for religion and culture, I'd say, where is the place, and how do the sinking of the movement of technology, the movement of and evolution of ourselves as human beings mixed in with these old cultures and traits, and bringing them alongside with us.
Right. I mean, it's a good question. I believe that it's, again, just a way of life. So it's not necessarily like another thing we add to a checklist of things that we do, but it's by those who are practicing religion, who are Orthodox, it's just a way of life. It's just part of who they are. So, it's just as the world is growing and a person grows, so too does. It's just part of them. So no matter how much technology may grow and become what it is, from Friday night to Saturday night, technology gets turned off because of the Shabbat. So it doesn't matter how advanced it may be. It just be turn it off and zone out and spend time with family, friends, with God, foster those relationships. So I mean, it's not, and just looking back at history, I mean, for the thousands of years that the world has been changing and evolving, and us human beings have been doing so as well. Religion has been around, and that's just that. It has been flourishing since the beginning of it. So since the beginning of time. So it doesn't really. I mean, I don't get afraid of it. It's not something that I'm fearful of, or I feel like as those new challenges or new opportunities come about, we'll just adapt to it as we have been doing for thousands of years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those, futurists. I love the futurism.
Sure.
And I'm just thinking, one day we're going to have, a chip that can read all of our vital signals and nanobots in our body that can clean us up. And I'm wondering, is that going to change the definition of being human? I don't think it does, but also I'm curious, are people going to view us differently? Are their actions going to be different? Are they going to change the way they view religion? Those are important questions, I think, here in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I guess those people will be also the same people that have the same chips in them. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, it's hard to really, I guess. I mean, I don't know the word hypothetical, but what's going to be. But I know that whatever may come, it's the principles will still be the same, and the foundations, will be what will be what they will be, and the people who will hold by them, stand by them. People may adapt them, and so will be life. It's going to evolve and change and be whatever it is, but. Ultimately, what I found with religion in my life is that it just brings a lot of peace within myself, peace within my family, state of mind, clarity. It gives me meaning and purpose, and it's just been working and helps me fulfill my full potential. And so that's something that's part of who I am. and I'm excited to see how that evolves as the future comes at us.
Speaking of the future, what do you got planned next? I mean, what's on the horizon of the front for new videos, new content, new things you're working on?
Yeah, I mean a lot of new content coming out. I'm very excited about new projects. I'm working on launching my very own podcast, and along with right here Brandon on the mic right here, and very very excited about that undertaking. Is something that I've talked about and thought about, but to actually bring it down to actualization is quite exciting, and I'm excited, very pumped for our collaboration on that, Brandon. So that's something that's coming up, and that's going to be on the topic of positivity and happiness, but really getting to know the behind the scenes, what pushes people to get to where their goal is, where they want to be, their backstory, getting to know the people that inspire us, that are doing incredible work, positive work, that are influencing the world in a more brighter light.
Has he told you the logo? Have you?
He knows about that logo.
He knows about that logo. Okay. Just
The,
checking.
spreading positivity.
Spreading
yeah.
positivity.
Spreading
good butter.
positivity with Meir. Yeah, I like that. I like that a
love
lot.
it.
Yeah. With the so we're just talking about the logo. So stay tuned for that logo coming out. We're very excited to see how that comes out. We're working on the podcast, and at the same time looking to get busy with a web series of like a late night show between like a late night show, like a Jimmy Kimmel and Ellen show coming together. So I'm looking to put that together now, working on that, producing that. Very excited about that, how that's going to come to be. And at the same time, putting out more content. So finding concepts that inspire me, that I enjoy, the short films, the short stories, different concepts, and just bring those to life and publish that. As well as down the road later on in the summer, getting close to the summer, I'm looking to work on either a feature film or a documentary that talks to me. So right now, just looking through different ideas, and then once I pick that one idea, build on the script, and then hopefully film and shoot during the summertime. So that's more of a longer term vision goal, but there's a lot of projects going on in the pipeline.
How did you get involved, like just with content and filmmaking itself? I mean,
I would say, wow. I mean, I always loved filming. I always loved acting, entertaining. And then what happened was that I just started getting involved in school and in camps when I was younger, in plays, in skits, and I just enjoyed that medium of being on stage and seeing people laugh and entertaining people. And then as I got older, I just tried to find ways for me to do more of that. And initially, to be an actor was something that I always wanted to be. Though being Orthodox and looking the way I did with my beard and with my, just with my lifestyle, it was, I would say maybe nearly impossible to go about the traditional route of becoming an actor. So from auditions, a lot of them, and the shows a lot happen on Saturday, and a lot of auditions happen on the weekend, like on Friday nights and stuff. And so it just came to a point where I was like, let me create content where I could put myself in it and just build my own reality where I could, act and perform and do the things I want to do. And so that's what it was. I didn't go to film school. I didn't have the opportunity to go to film school at the time. And so I started just met up with friends who knew how to took videos, and or myself learned how to point and shoot, and I started messing around with that, and then editing it, putting it on YouTube at the time, and then friends would see it and family would see it, and then eventually just like let that grow and manifest and organically happen, and trying to be as consistent as possible, staying focused as possible, making the decisions of what kind of content I want to create that are aligned with my belief system, and sticking to that. Even though when things may get tough or get distracting or get tempting to do otherwise, and just keep on, just keep on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How are you?
That's powerful. Build your own reality. Like
build your own story, build your own reality, and live the greatest story that you can create for yourself. I mean, that's essentially what it is. Taking full responsibility for one's life. Any way that resonates with you, whether it's the captain of your ship or the director of your movie or the author of your book, but that's just many different ways of saying, like, just own it, own your life.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just the message we come across more and more and more. When you hear a certain message or idea about, hearing other people about how they got started or why they started doing something, it was more about just, I have no idea what I'm doing. I kind of had no basis of why I got into it. I liked it. I wanted to do it. And the word you just said, or the phrase you said, just owning it.
Yeah.
And just taking it on because this is what I love to do. This is who I am, and having that appreciation, understanding of who you are to really flourish in
Yeah. Totally.
whatever that existence is.
100%. 100%. I mean, I think it's brought up a lot in the conversation because there's because I feel like a lot of people do talk about like how things aren't happening to them and things aren't working out and like there's a lot of different talks about giving up and things not aligning to what they want, and that's just gonna happen throughout life. And it's just that's why I feel like I don't know if you guys are Gary Vee fans, and Gary Vee's just in a lot more explicit language, just like it's like just own your stuff, like stop complaining, get out there and make it happen, create, just do it. Obviously not easier said than done, but then again, easy if it was easy, everybody would doing it. So like you just gotta really figure it out and just be in action and figure out your why, and then with any why you could make any how happen, and just be committed to that path of whatever you define success, and then go for it. Go for it. No one's stopping you besides you.
Mr. Klossman, Mr. K, Meir K, thank you so much.
Thanks
We got to wrap this up. We've been we pushed Matt as far as we could. He's the man for letting us
Thanks
keep
a lot.
going.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
No, I'm glad we
You guys are good.
finally got
Finally.
this
Yeah. We finally jumped on. Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
It's been a blessing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you for coming out on this Sunday morning. And real quick, give people a plug, where they can find you, where they can connect with you, and any other messages you want to send before we close out.
Sure, I appreciate that. Just totally hit me up on find me on social media platforms at Meir K, MEIRKAY, MEIRKAY. And like I always say, just stay positive, be happy. I'm Meir K. Have a great day.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Everybody else, thank you so much again for tuning in. And if you aren't subscribed or you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click that button. Whether it's YouTube or whether it's podcast, you got to click and you got to make that CTA. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you love this show, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. Make sure you share this show. Make sure you have someone else out there find this show where they can reach and share in that positivity that we got to discuss and reach out to today. And
Thank you to our sponsor.
Sponsors with Green Roads World. Green Roads World, the largest CBD producer in the Florida area, and they are producing some incredible stuff from thousands of ways to consume and to take in all the incredible benefits of CBD oil. Trying to reduce inflammation in any and which ways you can, whether it's topical creams, coffee, tea. You're going to find over that at greenroadsworld.com. And make sure you use promo code ONTHEBUS, 15% discount on any and all purchases. Thank you, Brittany, my lovely sister. She went to go get some CBD for her son, Jace. Jace is on the CBD train. So it's active. It still works. And thank you so much for everybody who shopped at that. And guys, thank you again. This is episode 77, 78, 79. I don't know. We love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in this far and this long the way.
Bus?
The bus.
Out.
It's awesome. That's usually how the format goes. You guys come in and then jump into it.
Yeah. Less interview, more just flow conversation and just have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
It was really cool, man. It's really cool.
That way we're able to dissect, because, why we really started this is, we want to learn. And our favorite way of learning is, rolling up the sleeves, having conversations with people who, inspire us and who have something to teach us.
Yeah.
And we can bring that to our audience, I guess.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Matt's usually the guy. He's the man.
This is Matt's studio. It's,
Oh, very cool. Very
him,
nice.
his wife, and you have one more partner in the...
Yeah, you ever met Mike?
Yeah, I met Mike. Yeah, I've sat down with Mike before.
It's amazing. Like, you've done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Working with these guys. We missed them a couple months ago.
Nice.
Work to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's catch-up time.
Nice. And you guys have a branch in Brooklyn as well?
They
Nice.
are... You guys are strictly here, right? You have
Just
2
here.
rooms. You're looking to branch to 3?
We're bringing the third in probably next month.
Oh wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Wow. And this is strictly for podcasts.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I love the black and red. It's
I like the
Very,
colors.
very
I
I love the
colors.
black and
Yeah,
red.
yeah,
I'm
for
a
sure.
black and red fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
we will be chopping some stuff up, sending it over to you. With,
Yeah,
my
please,
camera
man.
over there.
Please. I'm all about that black and red life. That's my jacket right there. Black and red.
Black and red light.
Yeah. For sure, dude.
What color is the bike?
black and
Right,
red.
right.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, man. I gotta rock and roll to Crown Heights though.
I know you do. I don't want to hold you up anymore.
There's a community website, COL Live. They've been around for 10 years, having a 10-year anniversary, like having a small concert, and like all the different celebrities of the community are coming out. And so I'm gonna be taking over their Instagram story for a bit now, jumping on stage for a bit.
Yeah, I know. Daniel loved your podcast with which rabbi was that?
Yeah, Simcha Weinstein. Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. I love it.
He's a rock star, man. That guy's he actually has a really interesting book, like Jews and superheroes. He's a big superhero guy, and so he like dissects like different superheroes and the creators. A lot of them are creators are Jewish, so he just like breaks it all down, ties them to the Torah. It's very interesting dude. He may be very interesting to have on your podcast. That's yours.
I don't know how that was going.
I thought he was a very interesting dude. He
He's a cool dude.
navigated the conversation really well. He was fun, so fun.
Yeah, he's fun.
He brought a lot out of you too.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. He's a good man. I'm very fortunate to have him. Also, he throws some really cool parties around the holidays. I found out so maybe you want to come by, like young people, girls, and guys.
So
Based in LA.
I don't live up here,
Oh,
but
Vegas,
he's
moving to New York.
been pitching me
It was
to
a-
move up here, and I've already talking with you, talking with such incredible people that I feel more connected with and like more community with. I'm like in love already. I'm already in love.
How long you planning to be up for?
I'm here till Wednesday, but I may come back to in November for 2 months.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So we'll see.
But they're
What
doing
happens?
I was vaguely able to catch up with Kyo the other day.
Yeah, he's a hard, yeah, especially when he's hungover.
Great stuff.
Let's do photo.
All right, guys. I'm gonna
Let's
tag
do
you all up.
photo all together.
Oh yeah, totally.
Is this working?
Sure.
So everyone's going black and red. I mean,
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
use your phone.
Huh?
Use your phone.
I need to.
Bada boom.
Hold on.
Nice. All right. Please send that over. Love to see it.
Right out. I will catch up with you when you get back from Miami.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to do that.
The production week.
Next week we'll get cracking on the first episodes. Yeah? Awesome. Great. Pleasure meeting you, man. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It was really great. Also, I want to talk to you guys. I want to learn more about this. I've seen friends get involved with that.
Is that a great story?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know the founder. We can definitely get you in contact with Zoom.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's one of the, I saw my friend Sarah Stone got involved with that. And anyways, so we to see what they're up to.
Sounds good.
TBC.
Enjoy the rest of that
All
day,
right.
man.
Thanks, guys. You too. Have a great day.
Cheers. Thank you so much for accepting.
There's also another show, Marshall Dunn. He's Australian and he interviews people that are kind of in line with your show. He starts every episode with a 10-minute guided meditation.
Love it.
He interviewed the last interview he had was with a photographer in New York City. His last photography show was with Justin Bieber. Not into Justin Bieber, but he's got some sort of connections. His source called The Source's Mouth. So he interviews creatives that are creative.
Is there a way for it? Because, you know, being here, you have a list of you have great podcasters who come in here most likely.
Yeah.
So obviously the best thing for us is always cross podcasting. People who know how to speak on a microphone and are also very fascinating, talk to other cool people. Maybe there's like something you can make where we can connect with the people who are already
I
podcasting.
think I'm just gonna make a forum.
Yeah.
Some sort of online
For all the users.
People that record here, so they can connect with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, freeforum.com or whatever, like that VPN. Or just create a newsletter for everybody to vote. I don't know. There's definitely a way to connect people, and we're gonna totally get to it.
I mean, like you mentioned with podcasting, I mean, that's, you know, podcasting is so tribal in the fact that I can listen to whoever I want to listen to and the things they want to tell me whenever I can. However, you know, when it comes down to finding new shows, like growing those shows, the hardest thing to do is, you know, grow your show, hence why getting other people's shows is the only way to grow it. So, you know, without sounding redundant, without, you know, replaying the message over and over again, I mean, it's, you know, kind of it's getting people from all these different channels to get all these more shows
If you
together.
get 10 listeners, you need listeners for every show you're on. In 6 months,
Yeah. Are you still doing the martial arts podcast?
yeah. I mean, we're excited to talk about it more.
Yeah, it's big. What do you mean? Tomorrow's got to be a big one.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
I was pulling for the whole time. Did
Yeah,
you
me
see
too.
some last time?
What happened in the crowd after? I mean, I didn't get a
He
good.
Connor's people.
He went after Connor's people?
Yeah, one of Connor's guys was talking about he was really going loco, was talking about his religion, his father on it. So he jumped over and did like a flying kick to a boot. And then some other guy from Philly's playing actually punched Connor in the face. They even got arrested.
Wow, that's great for business.
Yeah, Dana White's like